Hello everyone, my name is Harold Campos and I'll show you today how to use Azure Logic Apps agents to interact with mainframes and get the best out of them. First of all, we have a mainframe in Microsoft, and this mainframe is being maintained by the host integration server team in Logic Apps. And what I can tell you about mainframes is that they pretty much run many of the most critical systems in the world. They are run by airlines, they are run by Visa, for instance, and a lot of what they do today, it's entrenched in our lives. A lot of the banking transactions, they go through mainframes. I would say that most of them. And considering that this is a very legacy architecture, despite the modernization and the hardware, they are still very relevant today because they work, and they work very well. At a high level, a mainframe has different components. They have terminals to allow the entrance to the system. They have networking components. They have transaction managers that allow the program execution, like CICS, IMS, and IBM MQ. They have databases and files, and they have core facilities. Now, something that we need to consider when integrating with mainframes is that these systems, they are not really servers, so they are not really independent. They represent ecosystems. So you can host applications, many of them. You can host data. You can partition the mainframe in multiple little mainframes, so to speak, which we call LPARs. Let's call them logical partitions for now. So that's why it is that they are still timeless. They are still relevant today, right? And they don't represent just one application. They represent entire ecosystems of applications and data. For this demonstration, I have created this fictitious Northwind commercial agent that represents Northwind. That is one of the largest groceries store chain in North America. The purpose of this commercial agent is to grant low interest lines of credits for purchases of groceries and other products. This agent will work on extracting financial information from Woodruff Bank, debts from a credit bureau, and information from an internal Northwind CRM system. This agent will assess each requester and update internal Northwind systems with the approved customers. At a high level, this is what it's going to look like. You have Northwind that has an IBM mainframe that is running a number of subsystems like IBM MQ, like IBM DB2. You have another mainframe that is called Woodruff Bank that hosts an IBM CICS system. And you also have the credit bureau that is running a lighter version of a mainframe that is called a midrange. Maybe you have heard about them in the past. They used to be called AS400s. Today they are called IBM I systems. And Logic Apps will be used to interact with all of these legacy systems and also to provide these AI capabilities through what we call the Azure Logic Apps Agent Workflow. Okay, as I don't want to confuse you, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to show you first, because you might not be familiar with all of these green screens. First of all, for the Northwind systems, I will show you a Northwind DB2 database and an IBM MQ system. So those are the two things that you will see today, and a lot of the work happens in DB2 because it's easier to use in not only in a mainframe but anywhere else. For the credit bureau that is running an IBM I system, you will be seeing an RPG program in SkyTab. SkyTab is a cloud environment for IBM I systems that returns debts. And for Woodruff Bank, that also uses an IBM mainframe, you're going to see a CICS 3270 app called Get Balance Income that will represent the income for this requester, and a Get Accounts data set with customers' data. So then you will be seeing a lot of these screens, but I will show you towards the end how is it that the agent will work to get what it needs to approve or reject a credit. Now, I call this an agent who speaks with mainframes because what it's going to do, it's going to allow these core facilities, databases, transaction managers, and also terminal to coordinate activities with the agent. So while this is an agent that you can keep asking questions, you can do that. You can do that through channels. In this case, I'm going to to work on these tools that are provided by the agent to request bank information, to request the debts available for this requester, to ask for the income of this requester, to check if this requester is already a customer for Northwind or not, and if it is, then we have to get a Northwind profile for this customer, and then after that, if this is not an existing customer, we will add it to the database, and if it is, then we will just add a credit. But we will add a credit anyway when we approve them. Towards the end, I will be providing a final report, and this final report will be shared with Microsoft Teams and also with IBM MQ for the mainframe of Northwind to be aware of what has been approved or rejected. Now, at the high level, the demonstration includes a number of workflows. Each one of these workflows makes use of all of the connectors that we have and service providers to interact with mainframe systems. This demonstration will be using an IBM Z16 mainframe that is called SYS1. And this is a real mainframe, by the way. I like doing my demos with real environments. We will be using a real SkyTab IBM I environment. We will be using Logic Apps. The HI is designed for Logic Apps to build the mainframe and midranges metadata that is used by Logic Apps. The 32 design tool to do the recording of the entire sequence of screens for these 3270 applications, and Azure OpenAI. Now let's get to the environment. Okay, first of all, I'm going to show you for Northwind the database. Let's log on to the host. And see the existing database. I will be using IBM DB2 v12 now. And what I'm doing now is I'm getting into the ISPF console so I can do operations in the mainframe. Right now, what I do is I'm going to show you the DB2 environment. For that, I do M here, 6, DB2. Then just wait a little bit for it to show up. For SQL, 3, enter. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you, I'm going to open the parameters that I'm using. In SQL, I'm going to open the SQL statement just to show you the customers first. So this is the customer table that I'm using. I have a company here, a customer ID, company, contact information. I'm using the contact information for simplicity. I have other tables as well that I will be using for this exercise. So let's see if there is any credit available. I don't have any credit available. I created this table to show the credits that are going to be stored for this customer or the requester. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to MQ to show you that I have created a queue in the mainframe. This MQ Explorer instance is connected to a queue manager that is running in the mainframe, and it has a queue called Northwind approvals. So this queue will be used towards the end again to check for the requester's information that has been sent to the internal system. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you for Woodgrove Bank the data set that hosts the information that I will be using for financial purposes first, right? So for that, I'm going again to the mainframe, but let's say that this mainframe is Woodgrove Bank's mainframe. So I'm going to go to show you a data set, and this data set is the one that has the listing of the customers that have these financial information, existing financial information. So then I do F8, and then you will see that I have someone called Keymakers somewhere. Keymakers, yes, I have the information for Keymakers. And I also have, let's do F7, I added this customer, Pirco Cosquitalo, and I have not sorted this file, so you will see it here in the middle of two other J folks. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to show you the CICS environment, which is an environment where I will be showing you how is it that we execute the CICS programs that use 3270. For that, I'm going to open another session here. I'm going to disconnect, and then I'm going to connect again to have another session. And here I'm going to write the name of the CICS system. I will clear, and then I'm going to show you the first transaction, which is get accounts. So get accounts will give me the account list, and this information will be captured as well by the agent. So if I write the name of the customer or the requester that is called keymakers, then I hit enter, and then on the screen with all of the accounts of this person will show up, right? And then I hit end report, and then what I can do is I can hit F3, so I can go and run another transaction. In this case, this transaction will be get balance. For get balance, I have key makers as well. So let's enter key makers. For account number, this value, and then we will get that the account balance is $41,000. Now this balance will be used as an income for this person. It's a very high income, it's a monthly income, right? But for the sake of the example, we will be using this in the agent. So now let me go back to show you then the tools that we use to do this work, right? So for doing this work, we have a number of tools available. Because for the agent to understand through Logic Apps what is going on the mainframe, we need designers, and these designers, they are available through the download center. This is called the HIS designer for Logic Apps, and you can use it and you can to create the metadata of these legacy programs. Let's remember that all of our technologies for mainframe and midranges integration is based out of Host Integration Server, which is a product that we've had for more than 30 years. So we know what we're talking about, right? So let me get into then the other part, which is the agent per se, right? So let's get into the agent. So I'll open the agent. So this is the agent. But one last thing that I wanted to show you that I didn't, I thought I did, is the IBMI system. This is the IBMI system that is running in a SkyTab that represents the credit bureau. So this system will be providing the debts that this applicant has. So let me show you the program. This program is running in this environment, in this SkyTab environment, and it was coded using a language called RPG. That it was basically designed for IBMI AS400 systems, right? So you will see that it's a bit different. You have name, account balance, account number, right? So this is RPG, this is not COBOL. Anyway, so once I've done that, then I can show you the actual demonstration. This is the agent. The first thing that the agent will do in Logic Apps is he will receive the credit requester information. He will check if the requester has a financial history. For that, it will call a workflow that will be reading using host files. Get customer, find customer, I think it was. Yeah, so it will go and it will call a workflow that will be reading the content of this binary file that you saw using what we call the host files offline parser or connector, right? So then this is just one of the examples of the multiple workflows that we have here to do work. Like for instance, the get accounts is going to be using what we call the ESI3270 connector that allows you to run these green screen recordings or programs in through Logic Apps. This is fantastic for automation as well. Okay, so then I have the get accounts, I pass the name of the person and such, and then I go back to the agent, right? And once I have captured some basic financial background information, then what I do is I follow the entire process that I explained in the slides a few minutes ago. Request bank info, check for Norwind customers, get the profile if they are a Norwind customer, capture the debts for this individual, get their income for this individual, and then I have finally the tool that will be adding a Norwind credit to DB2 on a customer if this is not an existing customer only, and then it will providing the final reports, one to the user that is logged on in this moment using Microsoft Teams, and another one that will be sent to an IBM MQ running in Northwind's mainframe. So let's run it now. So I have three users. One user her name is Paula Parente. She's a applicant, a requester that is a Northwind customer, but she has no financial background. So then I enter her information. Okay, so this is the first person. Then the next one is Pirko Koskitalo, who has information in financial background and is a Northwind customer as well. So let me do that again here through the same mechanism. And then the next one is going to be our famous Keymakers. And Keymakers, yeah, she's the one that has the largest income, of course, right? So we will use that that information. So I'll close this. But before going to check the execution, I wanted to go to the agent and the system instructions that I use, right? So I think I spent a good amount of time trying to describe best what is it that I was expecting from the agent. And once you have a description or a set of instructions that accommodate your business case, so then you do that and you incorporate the data that you are using. You try to be explicit and specific on the asks, right? And then let the agent do the work. So now what I'm going to do is I have different ways to see how if this has worked or not, right? So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to open a session in the host. As I see, I still have my session open, and I'm going to go to check in DB2 the queries for the tables where this information is supposed to be stored, right? So then let's do 4 here in SQL. Let's go to enter. And then, if you remember, we use 3 customers. One, Paula Parente, the second one, Pirko Koskitalo, and the third one, Keymakers, right? So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to show you the customers here. So if I go to the SQL statement, you will see that if I do a select a star, right, I will have this list of customers, and I will check for the customers. Paula Parente, let's see if it's Paula is, where Paula is, yep, Paula Wilson, don't do that. Pirko Koskitalo is here, right, is an existing customer. Paula Parente is an existing customer as well. If you see they are consecutive, right, and you will see that we have a new customer here that is called Keymakers. So then only one customer was added, who was Keymakers, and I made sure that I added as a company for her Northwind Logic Apps. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you for the credit database the value of the credits that I have entered. So let me go back to credit, and see if the credits were added, and I see that 3 credits have been added, right? So then these 3 individuals have been approved, and different amounts of credit have been added. So you can infer who was given the largest credit, right? So then let me now go to run another query that has the credits information. Then I'm going to go back to the Logic App workflow to show you what had happened. Okay, so I do this tab. Enter the query, and then you will see that these are the people who have been granted the credits: Keymakers, Paula Parente, Pirko Koskitalo, from these requests, right? You will see what's the amount that was included. Now, if I go back to the workflow, right, and the execution, of course, it did well, I mean, I have to update the view here. You will see that in the agent chat, there is a report for Paula Parente, right? You will see that all of the workflows, all of the tools, they succeeded. And one of the terms that I had in my prompt or in system instructions is that for those folks who I wasn't able to capture the income, then I had to set $2,000 per month as income. So then the credits, they are basically taking this information into account, and then it tells me that Paula is an existing Northwind customer with this customer ID. So the agent captured the customer ID, and then it went through the order's history. It captured additional information. It did the credit analysis, and then what it did is I also asked to create a customer usage pattern, and the engine says at least one is historical order process without issue delivered to Resende, Brazil, because it has access to all of the database tables, right, in DB2, and that is an entire system, CRM system for Northwind. So then it even gives me product recommendations for new products or different products and such. So in the next steps, you can access Northwind Store Credit for purchases. Now let's take a look to another requester. So you have that Pirco Cosquitalo, same conditions, another customer, right? The only difference is that Pirco Cosquitalo existed in the background check database for Woodgrove Bank, right? So then Pirco was in the file. So then some additional information was captured for Pirco, hence the analysis was richer as well. And finally, for key makers, this is a non-Northwind customer, but it provides a lot of information from a financial perspective, because first of all, this is a person that I use to call the CICS and systems that are screen-based systems, verified and substantial, and these are the debt. It counted the accounts with the get accounts method that I had. 7 accounts, healthy mix of checking and savings. The agent has access to further information, but I didn't ask to provide more financials from the accounts. For customer status has been added as a new Northwind customer, so it decided to add. So now it's part of the database, and it has assigned a customer ID 191. So then you will see that the credit approved for this person was $10,000. This is the reasoning. This is the usage pattern. So now represents an ideal Northwind customer profile, some additional information, some recommendations for product, opportunity insights, and such. Now, finally, if I go to the MQ environment that I presented here, right, you will see that in the MQ environment, you will see one more queue. So let's take a look to see if there is another message in the queue that has the requester's information. Yeah, let's give it some time to load, and also, so this is the queue. You will see that originally I had one queue here, so I will browse the message of the queue. You will see now I have the queue information. If I pick at the data, you will see that all of the information from that was sent to Microsoft Teams as well. Let's go to Teams. Was also available for demo created requests for MQ and from Microsoft Teams. So you have the data here in the mainframe. Now it's in IBM MQ. I go to Microsoft Teams, and you will see that I have also information available in Microsoft Teams, because I asked the agent to share that information with Microsoft Teams, right? Same for Paula Parente and key makers as well. So that is what I wanted to show you, that what you can do with Logic Apps, with Logic Apps agents. You can actually do more, because for these types of environments, you can also interact with IMS systems, which are legacy systems as well. We can do more MQ work. We can do many things, and we can do this permanent interaction with the mainframe, because I can continue asking questions to the agent. And well, that's it. Thank you very much for your time, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any further questions. Thank you.